spirituality is important is because it is reality. We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Who I am and what I am is not my body. It's not even my personality. It's not the trauma I suffered. It's not what I've been through. There is a little spark of the divine inside of me. There's hard data that shows around mental health and well-being that having serenity, meaning, purpose, a losing of oneself to a transcendent self of the divine increases greatly the quality of our lives. We're a part of something much greater and much more beautiful than ourselves. And in living in that state can greatly enrich your life.
Hey. Welcome to the Everything Is podcast. Welcome to the Everything Is podcast. Definitely join on the way in. Please hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. We are Everything Is. We're talking about everything that matters. We are the zeitgeist. We are the culture. I am your host, aka CT, aka Chidi Bang. Call me Chidi for short. I'm with my co-host and side team partner Chris. Let me get this overlay out of here. I'm getting all these other for our other shows. My tag team partner Chris the Most High. Chris, how you feeling tonight?
I'm alright, man. I can't really complain about too much. I went to go see Spider-Man today.
Good. Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. But
and took a nap with the kids, and fed the kids.
All right.
A shower. So I'm
good. Pretty good day. Pretty good day.
Pretty good right now.
All right. Without spoiling anything, out of 10, you can put fingers up if you want.
Out of 10, being quite honest, I missed the first couple minutes of the movie. I was late. My duties. I was leaving with the kids and the dogs during the work hours, so I had to make sure everything was straight before I left. But when I got there, and what I seen, and what I felt,
I can't see the other side of your hand, so I'm not sure if that's a 10. Oh shit! Okay, are you sure?
I'm sure.
Okay.
I'm sure.
Wow. Okay. Oh wow.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm sure.
I can't wait. I'm gonna go tomorrow night and see it. So I'm not gonna be able to go live. This is the first time. Actually, we've missed a Friday before. Let me stop tripping. But yeah, we will not be live tomorrow because I gotta go see Spider. I thought he was gonna.
I might do some streaming. I might do some gaming tomorrow.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Shoot, if you can, because since you got the game capture, you can actually do that. Do some streaming. Do some game streaming. Maybe we can get some clips out for the weekend in the game stream if there's any good moments. That'll be fun.
Yeah. I'll play all three. I'll play Madden, I'll play 2K, and I'll play Marvel. So I'll let niggas see me get cooked on all three games.
Word up, man. I'll check it out tomorrow night, so I won't be.
I got spoiled. I got spoiled. So we were supposed to go see it. We had plans on us having to see it the same day, but I unfortunately got the movie spoiled for me on Wednesday. So I had to change course because I couldn't hold off because all my algorithm. I haven't been the one that's been hiding away from the movie and what it's supposed to be about and the plot and everything.
And in the end, it bit you in the ass.
It bit me in the ass because my whole algorithm is filled with reaction videos. And I'm like, oh, mother.
It's like, you want to see this. You don't care, right? Nah. It's crazy. Some people I think everybody has their level of, how they care about spoilers. I think the more you're a fan of something, the less you want to be spoiled about something. But then again, my brother, he's a guy who's like, I don't care for it. He'll go see something and he'll watch it, and then when he watches it, it doesn't matter if you've seen it. He'll come to you and have a whole conversation, knowing that you're gonna go see it. Like, for instance, I told him last week, yo, I'm gonna watch the Odyssey, right? And he's like, yeah, I saw it already. You know what? I watched the last Odyssey. I watched this Odyssey. He says voice note. He's like, I think the last Odyssey is better, and I think it's the way they did it. I muted that shit immediately. I stopped it. I stopped it.
You already have
I cannot talk to my older brother about movies that I haven't seen, because he's gonna say something that's gonna make me feel like I shouldn't be having this conversation, especially if something I really want to see, because he went, and luckily it was a voice note, so I could pause it and be like, all right, let me stop. But yeah, he's very much laissez-faire when it comes to talking about movies. He's not gonna spoil it for him. Me, I'm in the between. Like, I'm not the type of guy who's like, I'm never gonna watch a trailer, like our buddy Days, or our cousin Rich, our day one. I'm not like that. But once you get closer to the event, I don't want to see any more trailers. Like I like seeing the early trailers and teasers because it gives me an idea of the direction they're going, And if I feel like they're not going in the right direction, I might not go see first week. That's how I feel. Like, if I feel like a movie that I want to see is not going in the right direction, I will not go see it in the first week. But if I know after the first teaser and trailer, I'm locked in. I don't need to see any more. And that's how it was with Spider-Man. Like, I still haven't seen the last trailer for it because I'm like, I don't need to see anything less anymore. Like, I'm there. You got my money. I'm there. So tomorrow night I'll be seeing it at like 11 p.m. in the night. Definitely gonna take a bit of coffee and get out there. I mean, we record at 11, so I'm gonna be awake. But
but
we're seeing the last show. Yeah. The anticipation is gonna be all day, all day. I gotta wait, because it's gonna be an event though. Like, we got like 9-10 tickets, so it's gonna be me, my nephews, Gabe, my sisters, my niece from Michigan who I went to go see for her graduation. She's in town with my other sister. She's coming, so it's gonna be a whole family affair. My other brother who's been on the podcast, he's gonna go. We're all going at the same time, like a family affair. We're going to see Spider-Man tomorrow night. It's going to be a good time. But yeah, no spoilers. I'm glad you said a 10 out of 10 because people are fucking with it. Some people who were skeptical, I saw, said this is the best Spider-Man since Spider-Man 2. Or might be even comparable to better than Spider-Man 2. That's what it's competing with.
I didn't want to see. My thing was I didn't want to give it any comparison, knowing what I come to y'all.
You just want to come from an open mind,
Rich, and everything like that, because I want to really understand the character. Because I want to be more knowledgeable on what I'm watching, and B, I want to know why you guys again, we talk about apathy, right? Like, why you guys feel a certain type of way when a character doesn't accentuate what that character can be, right? So learning about a neighborhood Spider-Man and how y'all just want that, or learning about again through the X-Men of how the preparation for the mutant saga, right? That's out there. We can't even. So you guys know what you want. That's why Rich wants a T'Challa, because he wants T'Challa and Storm storyline. Like, there are things that the fans that read the comics and again who follow the through line of these characters, when it doesn't meet the expectation through adaptation, especially when you have all the advantages, right? You have the book in front of you. Literally, you got the book, you got the budget. You got the book, you got the budget, you got every actor in the world that want to be a part of $1 billion movie. Like, you do not have to give the people what they do not want. And I believe with this particular movie, everybody gets what they want in this movie.
Okay. You know what?
Everybody gets what they want in this movie.
I'm going to leave it there with you on that. But since we are already talking about Marvel, I know we had a video we want to get to. Let's get to that in a second, because let's go into a Marvel conversation. And let's make it twofold. Today we got news that they, if you're a Marvel fan, you can stick around and talk about X-Men 97, recent episode, and today we also found out that they canceled the foregone plan season 2 of Wonder Man, the television series. So yeah, we can talk about those two things real quick before we jump into the other topics. Um, as for the Wonder Man situation, I think it's unfortunate, man. I do think it's unfortunate because, like, when you talk about they can give us everything we want and then they give us something that we didn't want, like Wonder Man, but it ends up being like critically acclaimed and successful, so much so that Yahya Abdul Mateen, I think that's his name, the guy who played the main character, Wonder Man, he's nominated for an Emmy because of his performance in Wonder Man. So I when I look at that, I'm like, okay, it doesn't matter if you are if the show's a success at this point. As far as critically acclaimed, they can still cancel your ass. I think the character has some legs. I think the character has some depth. There's something that I didn't know I wanted, and unfortunately, yes, it is a comedy series to a degree, comedy drama. Let's put it that way. But that's a new lane for Marvel. I thought it was a bold take. It was a bold step that honestly I was appreciative of. Did you end up watching the first season?
Actually didn't. I wanted to ask you realistically what, because again, I've always asked you the importance of characters. I've always asked you like, is this something that I should? And I don't know if I got like he was too integral. Like they this was like a throwaway thing to from what I was interpreting. Now I did again shout out to New Rockstar, shout out to Only Comics. Did I watch Only Comics at that time? What one of them other they gave me the backstory of Wonder Man and who he's supposed to be. And he's again hyper intelligent character, from what I understand. And in the comics, I don't think he was black, if I'm
No, he
mistaken.
wasn't.
No, he wasn't.
Now
So
he
like
is, but he wasn't. Because the
now,
miniseries where he's
exactly.
black is coming out like in a couple of months. So they changed him to match the TV series. He's black now, but for some reason they canceled the show. So it's like, now it's coming out. I mean, listen, I don't mind because he's a character that I think making him black actually is a good thing personally. I mean, that's because I'm black, but I think as a white character, there's a lot of white characters that does what he does, and he doesn't come off as interesting if he's a white dude. And in my opinion, now granted, he's a very powerful character, but to make him different, I don't mind it. Just but more than anything, like when we talk about black characters, we're already so limited in Marvel, right? And in terms of importance in the story and the narratives being placed. It's only T'Challa that people really have gravitated towards as far as black characters that is a staple, and I don't think it should be that way. I think that we're at the point right now where you can accept another black character as a real lead, and not make the story surrounding around um,
But what would that character be out of your ideology and out of your comic history? Who is that next? Because again, at that Black Panther at that time, right, wasn't something that you guys thought that you would get, and when it was done really well, especially knowing again that character is a really big character in the comics, right? But as far as where they was going with the MCU, didn't really necessarily know if he would be able to fit. And then when they created him and created that world and created the essence of Black Panther, and they made it really regal, made it really real. Chadwick Boseman did a really good job. Out of the other black characters, for me, the only other black character that I know of as a superhero, and let me know if I'm wrong, is Storm.
the only
Right?
one,
Is I'm who?
or the only one that you know of.
The other one that like that like that's like that can be big enough for like a movie to be surrounding by or to be put into like a storm. Now I know we about to
Listen, if you can
this.
make a movie about Shang-Chi and it actually do well, there's a lot of black characters like
But
you can
Shang-Chi is
run off
important in
with.
the comics, though, right? Now, this is what I'm at. I'm sorry. Now, let me ask. I'm sorry. I might be loud sometimes too. Let me ask. Out of reading the comics, knowing
Shang-Chi is
are
not a big deal in the comics. He has a role in Secret Wars where there's like a million characters in it. Yeah, so I'm glad they introduced him because there is a role.
So Shang-Chi's not a big in the comic. He doesn't have like
not to me. To some people maybe, but to me, like I still don't know the full extent of his powers. I've never read a Shang-Chi full story where I'm like, man, I completely get his journey. That's me. I'm sure there's other people who read comics that understand Shang-Chi's journey on a whole nother level, right? Um, let me see something.
But what black character to your recollection is that you would want to see? I know Blade, right? But outside of that, who else would you?
Right. I'll be honest with you. There's a really good story that hasn't been told on screen with Luke Cage and Jessica Jones that could be told in a big screen or on TV. And I hope they tell it going forward, like we've seen at the end of Daredevil. I just hope that they give it the time it needs to build and grow with them. And then you got Heroes for Hire with Luke Cage and Iron Fist. They've done a bunch of stuff. Now they're street level characters, but Luke Cage has also been in the Avengers, so it's not like he's only done street level stuff. Luke Cage, but majority of his big stories are with the Heroes for Hire, and
that's Shang-Chi too. Literally I'm reading it, and as you said it, I'm reading it, and he said he's the pinnacle of a street tier. That's what Shang-Chi is, the pinnacle of street tier. While he doesn't have cosmic reality warping powers, he is widely recognized as one of the absolute best non-powered hand-to-hand fighters on Earth, regularly hanging with or outfighting heavy hitters using pure skill and chi control. So to your point of, again, but Luke Cage has been a big feature, and I believe he's going to be in. Now, again, for the spoiler alert, if you haven't watched Daredevil season 2, please fast forward. Season 3, his big black ass gonna be in there.
I hope so. I pray because I liked his series on Netflix. I really fucked with it. The season 2 was a little bit off, but I liked the
build of his character. Dad, you know what I'm saying?
Gosh. No way. Yeah, there were some corny moments for sure. But I like they really made Harlem a character in its own self. They gave it the just due. Many black actors and actresses that did incredible roles. Even Mahershala Ali played the first villain. So he killed that shit. But I think not just for Luke Cage, the guys who they've already seen on screen, War Machine and Falcon, they've made them sidekicks. And I think that after Infinity War and Endgame, it was the perfect moment to elevate these guys into major focal points of a singular story. What they did with Rhodey, they made him a Skrull, and then he was saved at the end of Secret Wars.
Secret Invasion.
Secret Invasion. He's basically a victim. What they did with Anthony Mackie's Falcon, they made him Captain America. Go ahead.
Can I just stop on Rhodey real quick? Is he not a victim though? What do you mean? Let's talk about Rhodey's story. Are we forgetting?
He's been a victim. Story? Yeah, he's been a victim the entire time. But this is the perfect time to make him not.
But what I'm saying is that when you're saying, I think building sympathy for a character that nobody knows is smart.
But people know War Machine though. Like out of all the people,
yes, people know War Machine, but then he got his leg blown off. You know what I'm saying? Like he's walking around with Stark tech on his legs because he was paralyzed, right? So like And that was for the fight. Again, he's not an Avenger. He's a regular human. There's no super serum. He's not a billionaire.
Who?
He's not a scientist. Rhodey.
Rhodey is an Avenger.
No, I'm saying he's not a super soldier. He's an Avenger by proxy. Again, when you said he's a sidekick, he's an Avenger.
They made him a
proxy.
sidekick, but he's been an Avenger in the comics. Like he was a leader of the Avengers at one point. Let's be real. Rhodey he's that dude. He's that dude in the comics. He actually has bigger guns than Tony. Maybe not the crazy tech all the time, but he's more artillery. How is
Rhodey, the character that's in the U.S. Air Force, is a fucking not just a pencil pusher administrator that they've been making him in the comics? I mean, in the movie?
Okay, listen, he'd never been the official leader of the Avengers, but here's what I'm saying. In the Avengers versus in the Civil War II, he was one of the major focal points of that storyline. Let me explain to you what Civil War II is. But Rhodey is not some pencil pusher, no. He's a war veteran who actually has gotten busy in storylines, not just as a sidekick. He also has a deep romantic relationship with Carol Danvers, and it's like an off and on type of thing. So that's a perfect moment after Endgame to start to see that develop a little bit, right? They haven't even touched on that in the MCU, and then that leads to Civil War II, where they're on opposite sides of the philosophical debate.
Yeah. Okay, I fuck with that. I mean, from what I've been from what has been perpetuated through that character from the MCU's point of view, is that he's again a war veteran, but a war veteran who's now an officer. That I mean, I've never seen Rhodey get busy like Hawkeye just off pure. I got my pistol on my leg.
They've never given him that moment. All you gotta do is ride it that way, Like
that's what I'm saying. I didn't know. So that's why I come to y'all, pause, and I'm like, yo, tell me about this character. How do I supposed to receive this character, and let me know if I'm on board? Because now, me knowing that Rhodey knowing that he got mind controlled and he was a Skrull, he need to try to get it back in blood somehow. I don't know how you redeem yourself that way. But,
okay, excuse me, I'm mistaken. So he wasn't the leader. He actually died in Civil War II. Rhodey. He actually, yeah, he was tied to both factions, and he's part of the reason why it ended up being a war. But.
So they doing him justice by not making him a fuck nigga in the MCU. Because
you think so?
Him being on both, They doing him justice by not making him a fuck nigga in the MCU. Because right now you saying he played both sides and he caused the Civil War and then died. Like, nigga, you damn near, you Peter Quill type shit, nigga. You a fuck nigga. Shit. Nah, if I'm on camera, I gotta show the shirt off. Yeah, I got the Baphomet on, got the B on. You know what I'm saying? Edit
so
that out.
All right. Rhodey's biggest historical milestone is taking over the mantle of Iron Man during Tony's severe battle with alcoholism in the 1983 storyline Iron Man Demon in a Bottle. When Tony spiraled out of control, Rhodey stepped in to put on the iron armor and defended Earth. He fought classic villains like the Mandarin, and he even served as Iron Man in the historic 1984 Secret Wars crossover event. So he was the Iron Man at that time in Secret Wars. So even as of right now, it still works for him being the Secret War representative of Iron Man. Like they could have built him up to be that.
So, well, I mean, you got to. So hold on. Follow me right quick. Just while you got where we at. There might be a time in Doomsday where it's seen that the face of Doom is that. Secret Wars is the next movie. Can Rhodey armor up and redeem himself?
I hope so. I pray, because Rhodey needs to.
Okay. I'm just like, if I see the Iron Man suit and they unmask and it's Rhodey, we gonna pop in the arena, or niggas gonna be mad that it's not Doom versus Tony Stark? I'm just anticipating.
But here's what I'm trying to say is he needs to be built up, just like when you talk about Braun Breaker needs to be rehabilitated. Rhodey needs that too. And so does Sam Wilson, for that matter. Sam Wilson
is Braun Breaker. Honestly, nigga. Honestly, Rhodey can pop up and be Dominic Mysterio, nigga. He could win the Intercontinental Championship and nigga be like, Dominic, nigga. Like, he can go from heel to babyface just with one win. This nigga Sam Wilson, I need him to put Logan Paul and Austin Theory. Sam Wilson needs to take somebody by the balls and put them up through their throat and then rip out their tongue through them. Like, I need to see him get on some demon time, because he looked like a straight punk. Yeah. My bad, Sam Wilson, but Anthony Mackie, for one, don't do it for me. That's for one. I'm going to be as real as I can be. Anthony Mackie, to your left, Cap. Shoot out.
Sam Wilson.
Shoot out. Nigga, nah, man. Hell no. I needed Sam Wilson off the jump to be pushing Cap. I needed Sam Wilson off the jump to be a Cap equal, not to earn the respect of a nigga that's been frozen for 137 years.
You know what? Yeah, he was a lot more vulnerable in the comics, not only because, you know, he has his Air Force history and tactical advantages. He completely redefined the fighting style when he became Captain America, of what Captain Americans could do, because he has the wings and everything like that. Also, he is very heavily involved in the comics on speaking truth to power when it comes to systemic social issues and social inequalities and political corruption. So he is completely devoid of that part of his character in the MCU. They stripped him completely. He's just a black guy trying to act like Captain America at this point. They also have stripped him of his powers to communicate with birds. The guy is able to communicate with birds and also control them. So that's a real, like, power that could be used in certain moments. Let's say he got locked up somewhere and he just sees a bird in the window and he says the bird something. He's able to communicate telepathically with the bird. Like, there's different ways you can do it in a movie where it works for that character to give him more. Because everybody's like, oh, he needs to take the serum. He needs the serum. I do not want Falcon to take the serum. I think it means if he takes the serum, he's just a cutting corner ass nigga to me. Like, I think he should be a guy.
The fact that, I don't. As far as with that being said, my thing is this: from reading what I know, Anthony Mackie did not even have to audition for this role. He was their first and only choice for Sam Wilson. Huh. With that being said, he has not accentuated any characteristics to take the mantle of being Captain America. He has not led a tactical team. He has not led a task force. He has not he has not shown anything in none of the movies to show that he can lead Thor, who had came down and was talking down to Captain Tony. I am a god. Why would I am a god? Like, this nigga Thor, Chris Hemsworth came in on shit just for calling them niggas peons and shit. Like, and it took the respect of Tony and Cap and the fighting next to nigga. Hawk had to lay that nigga Thor straight. I'm like, man, shut your bitch ass up, and gave him a. What has Sam Wilson done? to beat Captain America other than give, here you go, your shield. See, like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, it's very much has not. He hasn't on screen had that moment where you're like, oh shit, he's serious. He's a big deal. They made him a joke the entire time, and then they pushed him to the moon, and we're like, him? He looks like Jack Swagger.
No, Jack has some. Jack has something about him though. Jack was a. I mean, he was a real deal, amateur wrestler. Like he was.
He's a real jerk, like, former Air Force, pilot, So, and
who Sam? No, Anthony Mackie.
Yeah, no, not Anthony Mackie. It's Sam Wilson, dog.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, give me some nigga. Give me Michael Jai White. Like, give me somebody that can whoop some ass. That can show me. You see what I'm saying? Like, you see what I'm saying? So
you don't like the casting. You don't like the casting.
Yo, okay. I know Jack Swagger ain't really had no swagger, but you put Jack Swagger in a ring with Kurt Angle, they can wrestle. May not cut no promo, but he can wrestle. You put Anthony Mackie next to Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, Robert Downey Jr., and you tell me, nigga, we need somebody that can be an equal in that room. And Anthony Mackie don't look like no equal. So therefore, when he's Captain America, he don't look like no equal. You see what I'm saying? So I need, and I don't know who they could have cast. Because I even Googled. I said, who else could have played Sam Wilson in MCU? They said nobody. Anthony Mackie was the first choice. I said, goddamn.
That's the thing. You got to give more black actors a chance to begin with. But there's a couple people that could have done that. You can find some black guy from England to pull it off.
Yeah, we got black guys from England really holding it down, boy.
They keep popping up no matter
what. They pulling up.
Shit, they made Idris Elba Heimdall. They could have made him Falcon, and then made Anthony Mackie Heimdall.
Oh my god! Oh, nigga, yo, Anthony Mackie sending with that one final joint. Can't believe that. And Heimdall being fucking Idris Elba, yeah, that'd be fire.
Yeah.
Sam Wilson being Idris Elba, that'd be fire.
In another universe, but
in another universe, my man.
With
even
Rhodey,
even Mordo could have played Sam
Wilson. I was thinking about that too.
Mordo could have played Sam Wilson. You know what I'm saying?
That could have been interesting. Yeah. But going back to Rhodey and his relationship with Carol Danvers, I'm reading here, it says it's one of the most stable and grounded modern couples in comics. It was first introduced in Captain Marvel's run back in 2014. It says their bond stood out because it was built on shared trauma, a deep mutual respect, and a unique understanding of what it means to be a soldier. And I'm like, that's such a good basis for a post-Endgame story right there in front of your face. To have War Machine deal with the loss of his best friend, she's through her traumas and, her going from, losing people and all that stuff, and
he just lost Monica Rambeau. Somewhere in the goddamn vortex.
Where, so I just think that there's so much layers there that could be added for them. If anything, that she and him could have a joint movie that would have been really cool. So yeah, they didn't bond over their power. They bond over their identical roots, which is a military background. They have a no nonsense dynamic with what I love. They have a very much straightforward, and I told you, like, Carol Danvers is a very stoic woman in the comics, very boss type characteristics, and to see her be more sensitive with somebody would be cool at some point. And I think that she's given, there's so much layers with Carol Danvers that hasn't been explored, that I think this would have been a perfect opportunity to raise both of their stocks and humanize them both, because they haven't been humanized. If they did that, like, as out of one of the first movies after Endgame, we would have a romance that also is at stake, in the future when it comes to Doomsday and all that stuff. So as their relationship grew serious, it became emotional centerpiece for the 2016 Civil War event. Before Rhodey joined the preemptive strike against Thanos, he and Carol Danvers were deeply in love. His death did not just break Carol's heart; it hardened her resolve. So maybe we lose, Rhodey in Doomsday instead of Thanos. She felt that backing down from predictive justice would mean admitting Rhodey died for nothing. So what Civil War II is surrounding is predictive justice. There's an human, and human is like a planet where these guys, kind of like X-Men, have powers, and they have this, instead of the X gene, they have a mist that can trigger people's powers. Right? There's a mutant. There's a human that can predict people having crimes. They can predict, oh, this person's going to commit a crime. This person, and she was on favor of locking people up based on the predictive crimes they were going to commit. Iron Man was against that. In that whole dispute, Rhodey's caught in between them. I want to see that on screen. I want to see something like that on screen eventually, because it's a great concept. It's a great way to have an Avengers movie that's not an Avengers movie.
Or is that a movie or a TV show?
That's a movie.
Because I don't.
They turned that's Civil War One.
You think that's a movie? You think that's a no? But that's a love story.
I think that their love story should be one movie, and then I think Civil War II should be another movie. You feel me?
I don't have it, but I don't have it. I don't have it. But still making one movie a loves movie is still a stretch for me. I don't know if I'll be interested in a love movie.
It's not going to be just about love, like a romance movie. Obviously, it's going to be a superhero movie. Give her a villain. Give her somebody to fight. Whoever she fought in the Marvels could have been the villain, but you got to write it differently. You got to you got to write it where it makes sense. Involving, it's a love story surrounding the conflict that's at hand. Where she might need his help or something, or he might give her some ideas or some guidance,
So to humanize her, she has to be on Earth because she's a cosmic being.
Yeah.
So
she needs a human connection to humanize her character, which has yet to be done in the MCU. Carol Danvers has yet to have that human connection with her, with human beings, in a deep way that matters to me. She has we seen her in her original movie that she came from Earth and she had the family that she was cool with, and she had the daughter who ended up being Monica Rambeau. It don't hit. It don't hit. It don't hit.
It don't. You said it don't hit.
You think that you were sensitive to that, and when you watched that stuff?
When we're talking,
her being on TV.
When we're talking. So when we're talking about humanizing someone, that's why I said asking what is she? Who is she supposed to be? When you're telling me that she's powerful as hell, right? I'm watching that first movie and I'm trying to understand how they're trying to make it. And when I'm understanding, they're not making a superhero the first Captain Marvel movie. They're making a Carol Danvers movie. So when you're asking about the human aspect or the connectivity of emotion, when we then see that she's auntie and that she has to go away and she comes back and she gives her the jacket or whatever the case may be, and she says it's okay, you can leave. Like, to me, that's emotional because when she comes back, she now has that human element when I see her to now give her whatever strength she fucking with because she came back fucking some shit up. You know what I'm saying? Only based off of the connection that she felt with human beings, right? So for me, again, that's why I say I'm a little bit naive to this. You know what I'm saying?
Like, if you genuinely felt that, then you felt it. I can't tell you what to feel. I think that for me, that she hasn't connected with the human beings in the stories deep enough. Therefore, she hasn't connected to the audience deep enough. I think that her, like at the end of Endgame, she's very stoic. but she goes over to Rhodey and before she leaves Earth, and she's like, "Be careful." It's just to him at the end in Endgame. You guys were set it up already. Like she cares about this guy to some degree, where she gave him to be careful, and not to anybody else. That she recognizes something in this guy. You know, why can't we build upon that instead of this whole let's throw Miss Marvel and Monica Rambeau into this triple threat movie of women and go off.
Hold on. I do hear. Okay, so now hold on. I do want to. Okay, so boom. As we're talking about black characters in the MCU, I don't want to misrepresent and disrespect Monica Rambeau. She is a very intricate,
very strong character,
and she's very strong character, and she has been portrayed that way. That fight scene with her and Wanda in WandaVision, for us to see who she is, what she's becoming, when she gets her powers, when that happens, and then to then understand that she is. I know people don't like the Marvels, but when I'm asking people what is the connecting piece, they all deem the name Miss Marvel. They've all had the name Miss Marvel. They all have kind of the same cosmic situation going on. Miss Marvel, the teenage, was the first mutant introduced into the MCU. She is ultra important to me, understanding the tea leaves that they were laying, right? So for me, Miss Marvel, I know people don't like that particular television show. That set up
movie.
What the television show and the movie.
What, there was a television
They're
show?
both.
Oh, I mean the girl. Oh, okay, the girl.
Yes.
I actually didn't mind the television show. Like that was fine to me. It wasn't like out this world, but it was a teenage, type of story. And it went. What I liked about that the most, they really did go into her heritage, and they like recreated like 1950s India. I love that part.
But to the connecting, so that's my point. So to connect, if you watch that show, she always idolized Miss Marvel.
Yeah, Carol Danvers. Yeah, for real.
And so at the end, when she comes and swaps bodies with
that part
Ms.
was
Marvel,
weird too. They're swapping bodies and shit. I'm like, what is going on? I did not like that at all. I mean, I think it was a gimmick that was weak, and then they go off world, and then she's over here doing a fucking Broadway performance type of like musical.
I mean, are
shit.
you picking apart the movie because
the story, the movie, the everything about that script I don't like. The villain.
Okay, so them swapping abilities and because there are three people. Well, Carol Danvers know who she is.
They were
Marvel
swapping locations. Like they were
swapping, but they were only swapping. They were swapping. No, they were swapping bodies. Like Miss Marvel was Monica, but what I'm saying is, I'm asking you. Damn, okay, I can't talk to you. I gotta wait.
Okay.
I gotta wait. Because what I'm saying is that abnormal.
I thought it was corny. I've never seen that in the comics. I've never read that, but maybe they do that because there's millions of comics. Maybe I missed it. I didn't like it, even if it was happening. Even if it did happen in the comics, I did not like it. I didn't like it. But let's see Tanya Paris about speaking of Miss, Monica Rambeau. She had given a little bit of an update at Comic-Con, so let's see what she had to say.
Okay.
I miss Monica as much as you guys do. I wish her well, and I'm excited to see her.
She said, so they asked her if she's gonna be, if there any plans for Monica Rambeau and the future of the MCU and all that stuff. And she's like, I miss Monica as much as you guys do. I wish them well and whatever they do next. She is very non-committal to what and saying what's going to happen. So maybe it's just she can't talk, or maybe they don't got plans for her.
The reason why I can't get on that idea of her not being in any future projects, we do not get multiverse happening and knowing that the X-Men are here without her being rescued by the X-Men. I'm telling you right now, I don't know how to do it. Actually, you got the stats. Gambling right now has taken over every addiction in the world. I will bet you my house, Monica Rambeau is in one of the next 2 big Avenger movies.
Okay, you don't gotta bet me because I think logically, I'm with you on that. She should be, but when we're talking about our black characters, she's probably gonna be a C tier character as far as the script goes. Will we see her have an impact past Secret Wars? For all we know, is she gonna be alive past Secret Wars? Like, these are the things where I'm like, damn, like, all right, are we just gonna have to wait till Storm comes for y'all to give another black character a prominent role on the big screen? I think that's our next one. Unfortunately, is Storm and Blade. And obviously, T'Challa,
that goes back to, like you said, like C tier characters in your mind, right? You said Shang-Chi is a street tier character. Monica Rambeau, for that character, what do you know about her? Because, like you said, you knew nothing about Shang-Chi, but how they introduced Shang-Chi was going to be on the strength of Kang, right? The Dangles, the Bangles of Miss Marvel, the Shang-Chi 10 rings, everything like that. Like, that was supposed to be some Kang shit that they was going to try to fuck around with. Now we got Doom. It can still work because he's technologically and magically. Pause. I was about to say something crazy. You know what I'm saying? But Doom is going to be a part of this. And if you
I think Monica Rambeau. Okay, sorry.
No, I was going to say, if you watch the trailers, Shang-Chi at least presents himself again, as we know, to be a great hand-to-hand combatant, right? He has some cute. For Monica Rambeau as a C tier, would you want a movie? How would you see that movie? What would you like to see in that movie?
I want Monica Rambeau to be in the Avengers movies moving forward after Secret Wars. She doesn't have to have her own movie, but give her a formidable role in the Avengers. There has yet to, an official member of the Avengers is Monica Rambeau. She's been in the past in the comics. She is extremely powerful. Give her that spot. Has there been a black woman in the Avengers yet in MCU? Do you count Shuri?
Yes, she had her own movie.
She was Black Avenger though. Doesn't mean she's an Avenger.
Okay, so are we asking? I mean, okay. What now? What are we asking at this point? Because a solo, is she an Avenger? I don't know. Did they have a very meaningful, intricate,
the
tailor-made
that were like official Avengers are Thor, Tony, Captain America, Black Widow, Hulk, Hawkeye, right? That's really it. Now that since from that movie, the first one, moving on, there are people who have worked with them. Actually,
so there's no black Avengers then.
I don't think
okay, so I mean, even in the comics, like we can't just pull something out
in the comics.
In the comics,
no.
Who's the Black
shifted.
Avenger?
Monica Rambeau. She's been in the Avengers before. The Avengers. I want you to understand something. The Avengers has had different casts throughout the years, just like the X-Men have had different casts throughout the years. So it might be hard for you to follow the X-Men '97 because you're like, oh, this person's coming. It's an ever evolving door when these groups. So Avengers in name have certain people that are there, but Tony Stark is not always in the group. Neither is Captain America. A lot of times, I think even Ant-Man was the leader at one point. So different times, and then they got the West Coast Avengers, which is the whole different group. So that also have a revolving door sometimes, depending on who's needed for the story. So Monica Rambeau goes back a long time, like to the 80s or 70s of being an Avenger in the comics at some point. I'm not saying she was the original, Avengers, like we just talked about those people. Doesn't mean, but when people leave, people come in. They always recruit. And that's
okay. So that's what I'm asking. Like, right. So we talked about Rhodey's not. He hasn't seen as an intricate person. We said Sam Wilson, who is an Avenger, he doesn't really seem strong enough. Monica Rambeau, she's been highlighted, featured, and seems very prominent in the intricacies of how this connects. So all I'm just asking is, like, I know that doesn't seem like enough or a lot, but to me, between Luke Cage being a success, and he's probably going to be in Daredevil 3, again, we have a Black Captain America, even though we have our issues with that and how he's presented. He is a staple. He is. It ain't like he's gonna die off. You know what I'm saying? Like, so. And
I mean, honestly, Sam Rogers. What's his name? Steve Rogers came back. So I don't know. We don't need him.
But Steve Rogers is the nomad. Is the nomad in the comics. Once he gives up his shield and once he gives up the title of Captain America, he doesn't come back, and he's the nomad at that point. So
I mean, he does come back, at some point. But nomad, he was. But what Chris Evans said is that when he left, there were certain scripts that were presented to him to do a nomad story. And he declined it. So wherever we're seeing in Tuesday and Secret Wars, seems like we're getting Captain to be Captain again. I don't know how to do it. They're going to share the shield. I don't know, but it seems like he's going to be Captain America.
I mean, he can come back and fight a variant. I mean, again, he can come back in Secret Wars, and Mackie has to fight the variant of Steve Rogers.
If he beats the variant, is that worthy? Is that gonna give him a little bit of credit?
No, this nigga said I can do this all day fighting himself. He gonna beat the fuck out of Sam Wilson.
What if Sam Wilson beats him? You not gonna like that? Like, you gotta give this guy some feet. Damn.
He can't beat a nigga with super serum that fought a nigga with super serum and said, nigga, we can do this all day. That's what I'm saying.
You gotta use your brain sometimes. Just like
I ain't never seen Sam Wilson use his brains, nigga. Joaquin Phoenix or Joaquin the Falcon is the nigga that's got the tech shit. I don't even see Sam Wilson doing his own tech shit. Okay. Am I lying?
You said Joaquin Phoenix.
You said use his brains. I said I corrected myself as Joaquin the Falcon, right? His name?
Yeah.
I'm saying? I ain't lying. You know what I'm saying? But no, to your point, the expectation for us to have connections with a character that looks like us is very important. You know what I'm saying? I think it's very important. And I think that they're not doing first and foremost, I don't want to say they're doing a disservice. Again, I do think that whether Monica Rambeau is I don't. I hope she isn't killed off because she has such. Again, with the X-Men, we have binary still that I would like to see a fleshed out character of her.
Rogue has been
Seeing
an
her mom.
Avenger. Wolverine has been an Avenger. And I think that the Avengers after Secret War should be completely different. Let's get away from the original people. Like I think maybe Thor can stick around. Maybe one or two people. Hawkeye can jump back in. But I want to see a whole different look. Maybe Hulk can stick around. But I want to see a whole different look. I think Monica Rambeau is one of those people. I think Carol Danvers is one of those people. You know?
That nigga Mark Ruffalo been saying free Palestine. They about to kill that nigga off too. Hawk ain't
All
gonna be
right.
around too many years.
No, let's just get let's moving on.
They gonna kill that nigga Bruce Banner the fuck off in one of these movies. Mark Ruffalo gotta go.
Listen, much respect to Mark, man. He's doing the right thing.
Absolutely. Much respect to Mark Ruffalo. But what I'm telling you is, dumb niggas not gonna keep giving you a paycheck to say that.
They are, because obviously you saw him today. So yeah,
we'll me. That's what I was saying.
Oh, is that a spoiler?
Doom had to be like.
All right. Speaking of standing up for what you believe in, let's shift gears. Let's shift gears to a woman here.
Doom smash through, nigga. He gonna beat the fuck out that nigga.
We'll see.
Oh man! All right, yes.
I saw a video today that I thought was a little bit inspiring. Shout out to Desi Jones. She's a YouTuber who's talking about basically what she looks at as the new, the next revolution, in a sense. And we started this podcast with a little cold open from Rain Wilson talking about spirituality and looking within, and that we're not just, human beings living a human experience. We're actually a spiritual being living a human experience, not the other way around. So I want to dive into this topic, and if you are spiritual or if you've learned about manifestation, might be on the lines of that. But I want to just watch this video real quick and just get not only my response, but Chris's response to some of the things that she's saying in this video, as far as she's talking about when it comes to the awakening that's happening, not just with us, but people out large in the world.
Real grip on how the machine works. The machine being
let me rewind
ourselves.
it so you hear what she said.
We're in a time where people are developing a real grip on how the machine works. The machine being ourselves, reality itself, society, the organization or lack thereof of energy. The real alchemical power of awareness, imagination, creativity. There's an expansion of tolerance for beliefs that previously didn't fit into our inherited paradigms. In the midst of all the chaos, that we can see, I do see that underneath it, there is a homecoming, a remembrance, and a reclamation of personal agency and sovereignty. And if you're going to click off this video in the next 30 seconds anyway, I just need to say something. When we say things like the revolution starts inside, people think it's just an aspirational, glossy-eyed message, right? But no, literally everything that happens on the planet at the hands of humans comes from some state of human consciousness. There is no thing that happens before it starts out as a thought or a concept, an idea in the unincarnated space. Even on a collective scale, it comes from beliefs, some internal perspective, or some widespread dominant idea or way of thinking. Think about some of the dominant beliefs going around. Think about that belief of we're powerless. Humans aren't capable of fixing things. Humans aren't capable of organizing. They aren't capable of changing things. This is just how humans are. Like, that's a belief I'm sure you've heard. This is our nature. Our nature is destruction. Like, all these things. These are beliefs I'm sure you've heard people just let fly out of their mouths. I won't go down a rabbit hole, but who benefits from you thinking that way and speaking that way? I'll wait. What ideas are you spreading? How are you helping the cause? You know what I mean? Everything, literally everything that exists in the physical world outside your window comes from energy being organized in a way that allows for those things to happen. Reality is comprised of energy, literally. People want to discount energy work, but it is negative energy work that got us into the situation to begin with. Okay? So energy clearly be organized to certain means. So energy work is directly connected to what physically manifests. Just like how your thoughts can create ailments in the body and tension and sickness, our collective frequency creates the physical world we see, the tightness, the pain, the illness, like on a planetary level. Violence or war? Shit, that's like arthritis on the planet. Cancer, it's like inflammation, upheaval. If we start to see us as a whole and not these fragmented microcosms or separate worlds, moral of the story, the process is literally from the inside out. If ever
You muted, brother. You muted.
Oh, real quick, I just wanted to pause right there, just give my 2 cents on what she's saying. A lot speaks to me because we've had a conversation before on like how I see the world, how I see spirituality, me being a humanist and all that stuff. But there's a lot of people who say that the world is us as a collective pushed outwards. Our goodness, our evils, our insecurities, our our power, our our generosity, our selfishness, all that is on display on a large scale outside of us. So when she says everything's energy and it's just the repeating of different talking points or different negative or positive impetuses, I truly resonate with that. That's why I try to speak positivity on this podcast. That's why I try to uplift and find a way out of the way things we deal with today. Because if you're not, you're participating and contributing to the, I guess, poison of the world in a sense. Because we got you. Were you gonna say something?
Oh no, go ahead and finish your land because what
No,
I
no. I was
have
just
to
saying the
say
poison that
is
was gonna that we are in the world. All I was gonna say was, but what she's saying is that we need to start seeing each other as a collective before us to continually to finally go beyond. Like, listen, if I see, like, we talked about Ecuador, was it yesterday or day before yesterday, and if I see somebody being killed in the street in Ecuador, I feel like I'm being killed in the street in Ecuador. If I feel like, oh my God, there's an outbreak of some kind of crazy, you know, illness in Panama or Malaysia, I feel like people I love are going through that. Those kind of sentiments is what needs to be spread out large at large, that thought process, so we can start to really start to heal, so that the intentions can be moved towards the right direction rather than us complaining and fighting and saying, well, hey man, that's not me. But that's all. That's
and
all
I
I'm saying.
think that and I think that part of hey, that's not me resonates a lot when we talk about spirituality, right? And the reason why I was as she's speaking and she said ultimately it's the power of the tongue, the regurgitation of words, right? The verse of the day, my Bible verse of the day is Proverbs 18:21. And that verse is the tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit. So again, whichever fruit you seem to bear is the fruit that you will ingest,
Hmm.
right? So, to your point of speaking poison, right, or believing poison, or regurgitating poison, or even saying that's not me, the spirit of the universe will bring that boomerang to where it is you, and nobody will utter the sympathetic nature of
Yeah,
humanity towards you because you didn't do so. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And
It's a reflection in a sense.
exactly, and
Mhm.
the uniform and the universe will at some form or fashion
Maybe this aspect, this one trait here, not as a whole, but I'm not, but yeah,
exactly.
we end up being a reflection of our parents, and vice versa, and at some point, if you, I think I believe in karma to a degree, that the law of, like, what you put out, you're gonna get, and it's not necessarily the way you think. It's like, oh man, I gave somebody $1, somebody gonna give me $1. No, 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 no. Listen,
No,
it's an energy thing. It's an energy thing. If I put out negative energy all the time, if I'm negative about things, if I'm always complaining, if I'm always whining, if I'm always worrying, I'm manifesting a life of negative energy persisting. I have to
yep.
switch the mindset first before I start experiencing a a habit or a trajectory of positivity. I have to believe
It's
in
just like
something.
exercise. It's just like
Oh my
exercise,
God, you
right?
are repeating what she said too. Let me just keep going because you're saying the same exact thing. It's like exercise, facts.
Yo, okay.
Everyone in the world, or even just 30% of people on the planet, in some way, but in some real way, expanded internally, started to see things differently and more expanded from their own subjective point of view. Like, imagine just 30% of the population were exposed to ideas that expanded them. What do you think would happen in the outside world? How do you think that would translate to the world at large? What ripple effects would there be? Well, I'll tell you, there will be fewer people who greenlight tyranny and violence. There will be more people who choose the more elevated action. There will be more people who use their voice instead of remaining bystanders. We do the work by connecting to ourselves and to others. When we connect to others, we connect to ourselves. When we connect to ourselves, I can connect to others. So, those of you who are currently still under that really strong spell that you are personally powerless and that we are personally powerless, yeah, it would really help the cause if you dissolve that. I kind of need you to lock in on your time. On your time. It's no rush. Well, let's lock in, Okay, disclaimer done. The revolution is here and it starts in your nervous system, okay? If you can control what your nervous system knows to be the case, you effectively control your reality. Because by controlling your nervous system, you have dominion over your filter, over your lens, over how you see the world. Everything means something different depending on the settings of your nervous system. Like, think about someone talking in front of a crowd. To one person's nervous system, this is attack. I am not going to survive this. Cortisol is spiking. I am terrified. To someone else, it's I am safe here. I am happy here. I gain energy from speaking to crowds. Crowds love me. I love these spaces. I grow every time I talk to a crowd. And those people are having fun and talking. Like, it's just how you perceive it, bro. However,
That goes to the narrative. What was the story we told about the pianist?
What'd you say?
It goes that reminds me of the story we told about the pianist on this podcast. The pianist
Yeah.
who, you know, has anxiety going into a performance, and before the performance, is freaking out about how the response is going to be, rather than focusing and zoning in on what's the task at hand, and anticipating a good performance can really change the outcome actually, and that's kind of like what she reminded me of.
you see yourself or whatever you believe about yourself is not fixed. It's just what you've practiced the most and what you're settled into. It's a groove, it's a pocket you're in, but you can literally become a different person. Like, I'm just being so for real with you. So, we're talking about the nervous
Real
system, right?
quick,
And if you've seen,
I
so
want to read that what they said. As an individual, we master the process of changing ourselves slash reality. It becomes abundantly clear that the world at large is capable of deep change. So if we change ourselves, the world can change as well. Every change maker knew this.
So we're talking about the nervous system, right? And if you've seen some of my other videos, I often talk about how things that are of the same essence or the same frequency can exist on different layers or in different realms, or you can see it as in different people's perceptions. So for example, this idea of healing the nervous system is actually the same frequency of concepts such as quantum leaping or manifestation or neuroplasticity, however you want to see it. So we could really argue all day about which one is right, which one is accurate, but regardless, on a frequency level, they all kind of occupy the same note, the same frequency. We're just coming from different vantage points. It's like, know which arguments are worth having. That's the discernment I think people kind of need to develop as time goes on as well. Learn which arguments are actually progressing the plot versus what's just filling empty, like what's just chatter. We really
Now, that right there, I thought was a key point too, because me and you have conversations every day on this podcast, and sometimes we leave things on the cutting room floor. You know, what conversations are worth having, what conversations are not worth having. Sometimes you want to
Yeah.
have a fun conversation. It's a fun, probably, all right, fuck, we'll talk about it. But other times we're like, no, this is not the day to be talking about some bullshit. And then there's some things that we'll never talk about on this podcast. There's certain things we'll never bring up because do I really care about, the feud between, I don't know, DJ Academics and the latest woman he's trying to curse out? I don't think it pushes the narrative forward. Having that argument is not necessarily our thing that is going to be makes it worth it. Unless there is a way that we can find an angle that elevates people, I don't typically want to have that argument. There's a lot of manosphere conversations about, oh, let's talk about a girl's body count. What does that mean? And all stuff. Do I care to have these conversations on this podcast? Absolutely not, because this argument is not for it's not for me per se. It doesn't elevate anything. It doesn't provide any type of growth to people, I think. And not only that, it's repetitive and played out. You know, what we want to do here, at least I know me, and I believe Chris as well. We want to enlighten and we want to grow as people. As we grow, we want our audience to grow with us and to tackle things from a perspective of progression, and in society at large. When we talk about Marvel, we want to see, hey, we want to see the story progress. We want to see more Black inclusion. We want to see, deeper storytelling. Yes, we're fans, but we also have reasons for seeing these things on screen because it matters to the general public, and having representation that matters. Uh, People, not just us, everybody. Choose the conversations that you engage in because it matters. Choose the content that you choose to watch on YouTube or Twitch or whatever, and ask yourself, does that push us forward as a people, or is this just a echo chamber of negativity? Try not to surround yourself with negative media because I think there's way too much of that out there today.
I believe that as well. And what I think the reason why we're here today, to your point of meaningful conversation, is that I wanted to come and ask you, what have you, what have you learned and what have we gathered? And you said, let's save that for 100 episode, but there's so much that has inspired me over these last 60 episodes to be better, to do better, to make it applicable. You know what I'm saying? Especially, like you said, off mic conversations. To be honest with everybody right here, bro. We we don't make no money right now, and best believe the women in our lives tell us that every time. And our aspiration is, okay, where can this happen for us in this space? And honestly, we discussed it off. I'm like, yo, I might can be a community leader. Like, I might can work at a nonprofit. I don't get that without this podcast, right? I don't get where I'm at. I'm like, yo, are you a human? Like, are you a democratic central? Like,
You're a
what
socialist.
are you? You know what I mean? Are you a socialist? Like, we're trying to figure out who we are, where we are in real time. And to me, that is admirable. And I think that is the when I'm super. We talked about the NFL yesterday, and before that conversation, I had watched Travis Hunter. Everybody has their vlog and everything like that, and in his, when he was speaking, he was just like, yo, every day I'm trying to be 1% better, bro. That is very incremental. 1% better every day is not hard to do, but a lot of people don't do it. Everybody stays stagnant, right? And I think us, when you talk about changing your algorithm, changing what you read, changing what you want to become, altering who you are, your reality warping in this moment, right? It comes from a spiritual place. It comes from a place of reflection. It comes from I'm not happy where I am right now. It comes from I'm not prospering where I am right now. It comes from damn, I can really make moves with what I'm doing right now if I do this, right? And that's come from a spiritual place. And I don't know if everybody or anybody is into what I'm about to bring up, but yesterday we had a full moon, and that full moon was named or deemed the buck moon, the full buck moon. And that was the symbolize, I guess, the symbolizing of every full moon in essence is a fresh start, right?
Fresh beginning, fresh start.
Intention,
Yeah.
intention setting, right? Intentionality. We speak about that, but with the buck moon, that particular phrasing or the origin of that name is antler growth, right? The name originates from the Old Farmer's Almanac and Native American traditions, because a male deer, a buck, antlers are in full growth mode during midsummer. And right now, for me as a male, right, I am growing right now. Like, I felt that. I understood that spiritually. I garnered that energy, and I'm trying to outsource that with my output. You know what I'm saying? So, I have been really taken aback to really trying to figure out what center is, and figuring out where that then leads me. Because once you're centered, then it can take you up, take you left, it can take you right. Sometimes the life direction of life can take you down. It can bring you down while you center. That happens. But how you get yourself back up from down to center, then now can put you in a place where you can go to ascension, or you can make a pivot, go right, you can go left, directional. You just have to get centered first, So I've just been in that space, man, with the information, with what we've been talking about, just the daily learning. To me, that has been my 1% of getting better. That 1% of erasing the ignorance erasing the lack of knowledge because I have to understand it. Again, it's not a podcast where we just talk about stuff.
Yeah.
This is a podcast where we talk about stuff with exactly. It's comprehensive of what it is that we're speaking about. So
100%.
So that's very that was meaningful. I like I said, I wanted, especially where we're trying to go. Right, this is the end of a new month. Right, this is the end of a new month. We're about to do end of the month analytics. We're not going to like what we're seeing. We already know what that conversation is going to be. Like, we already know what that is. But going into next month, knowing who we are, what we've done, what we can do, really conspiracy corner every Friday. Everybody, check us out. Maybe not this Friday. We're going to do everything as gaming, but having that as an attachment. Check us out. We're going to be on Marvel Rivals with the new season coming out. We got WWE 2K26 that just went on sale for your boy for PS5. So I might be getting in. I might be getting in. You know what I'm saying? So like, we're going to be GTA. We're going to be doing things that's going to be super important to us that can really move us into some place. And I'm super excited for that. Super excited for that, man. I'm gonna be super excited, man. You know what's crazy? I was gonna tell my boy CT to do a solo so I can step away, but he is the producer and he did it first. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I want to give a shout out to my lady. She took me to the Renaissance concert when it came to Miami. It was super exciting to go there. The album was amazing. The atmosphere was amazing. It was a dope day, man. So I wore this shirt, you know what I'm saying? Because again, Beyonce is fine, and just lets me remember the time that we went to the concert. Also, my wife took me to the Igor concert when it came to Orlando back in the day when we first had my first baby boy. So that was like 7 years ago. We got 3 kids now. So we went to go to Igor and I saw my homie Jay Worthy. Whoop whoop, shout out to the Bees. I saw Jaden Smith perform, which was fire, and then Igor was a really great performance. So yeah, man, me and the wife, we done some things. We went to Royal Rumble together when it was in Tampa. You know what I'm saying? She saw her girl Nia Jax. Nia Jax. She call her Nia Jax. I don't know why the fuck she call her Nia Jax, man. I guess because Nia Long, but her name is Nia, but, respect to her. And that was when Naomi returned back, so she got to see his glow in full effect. So, just a little quick shout out to wifey. I know she'll be watching the show. She'll like to hear it. She'd like to hear you talk about it.
Shout out to Abby, man. Let's continue with the video. I just want to, but I feel you on everything you just said. But yeah, let's continue with the video for a second.
We as a whole need to start seeing and perceiving in frequency so we don't get so lost and caught up in verbiage when we're all experiencing the same phenomena. When we do this, we fragment ourselves by choosing to focus on the difference rather than what's obviously and painfully consistent or coherent. It's like awareness, choosing what to focus on. So as a collective, we need to build that muscle of choosing where to direct our awareness, choosing what to believe, choosing how we're going to decide to think and lead our lives, the manner in which we live. Now, what I really want to get into is the importance of safety, okay? The frequency of safety, of being settled. Boy, this is like the gem. This is the key. This is the unlock to start living life. This is like the most important and foundational frequency in order for everything else in your life and reality to function properly. Then I want to give you like a visualization technique to help build this new understanding into your nervous system, something you can practice in a way to alchemize tension into freedom. How to be safe. Let's talk about delusion. Let's talk a little bit about delusion, but the delusion that makes you powerful, untouchable, and safe. Okay? To become the most confident person in the world, you really just have to make yourself believe or know. For the sake of this video, understand believing is the same as knowing, because a belief is just what you choose to know, what you choose to make true in your reality. So believing and knowing, believing is not pretend, believing is like making yourself know something where that is real in your world, okay? So to be the most confident person in the world, you have to make yourself know that you are the safest person in the world. Like to dissolve all the tension in your body that comes from this stance of defense, protection, vigilance, scanning. You want to, in the different realms in which you exist, on the different levels of body, mind, spirit, you want to ingrain safety. If you just knew you were the safest person in the world, like really imagine you had a bubble around you and people's energy, whatever, like you were going to be safe. You are safe regardless. You are anointed. Every step is blessed. If you had a bubble around you that just reinforced your safety, you would move very differently throughout the world. You'd become more bold. You'd also become more easygoing in other circumstances. You would take risks and not even see them as risks. You'd see them as investments, quests, chances for expansion or advancement. What would you do in this life if you absolutely knew for a fact that you would be safe? Meaning you knew from the beginning to the end, this path would be ordained by God, blessed, that you will remain safe throughout the whole experience. What path would you choose to just like embark on? You know, what radical idea lives in the back of your mind? What suddenly comes up to the front? If you had that blessing over you, if you had absolute certainty of your safety, what would you do? What would you start on a path toward if you knew it would happen, if you knew you'd reach it safely? What would you start? I'm like, that wasn't rhetorical. Like really, like get it in your brain. Like this is Dora style, okay? This is grown up Blue's Clues. Have you got it? Is it in your brain? Okay. This means you have to do that thing. And I know that might sound very jarring because, especially if you have a belief that is seemingly very far from where you are now. Like if you're a car mechanic and you really want to be a rock star touring the world or whatever. Yes, I'm talking to you. You have to do that thing because, as we've just discovered, the only thing standing between you and that path, that reality, that timeline is the presence of a belief that you can give yourself if you really wanted to. Believing and knowing that you will be safe. That knowledge is the only requirement for you to truly embark on that path.
Now, here's a concept that she's diving into about, I call it living in the end, like living in the person you want to be, keeping that in the forefront of your mind. I struggle with that a little bit because they a lot of times there's gonna be right in your face evidence that you're not that person. There's gonna be evidence that, this is not gonna work, that you are not safe doing this. And the levels of being delusional for what you want to do might not always be practical, you know? So depending on what it is, it can be dangerous to do that. Now maybe I'm saying the wrong words, but I've also practiced that completely delusion
No, it's
before.
it's real,
You know?
it's real coming from we're creatives, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And so there is there is no safety realistically for what it is
yeah,
that we tried to do. And I think, back to what she was talking about, see what you see. I saw that 6 years ago, right? I have the notebook still somewhere where I wrote an individual low-key tree of life plan where I was a branch to each and every one of my friends and family that I cared about with a business venture that we can do something. And even with me, uh, you know, everybody says that I'm pretty good with words, that my poetry is good, that my idea of a poetry book was good, that I went down to a shop to Montesi, went down to a studio and recorded some things and laid some things down. And I never got over the hump of the reality that I was in, that I can aspire to be who I saw myself to be. And that held me back. Our podcast previously, we wanted to be Public Enemy Podcast Network. We wanted to be Black Guys Wrestling Podcast Network. They are the two podcast networks in the Black space that utilize their network, utilize their influence, utilize their ideology, and said, we can move this forward, and did it and lived in it. And that reality, I'm like, that could have been Black Marks Production. And so, like, I as of right now, everything that we're talking about doing and being and wanting to be, I have no kind of shackles now to that belief.
Yeah.
But that's a lie. I still haven't put it out on my Twitter. I still have not put it out on my Facebook. I still not have sent it to my friends and family. I still have, again, like my poetry, like my wrestling podcast, keep it close near, because I can't let that get out to people and then it not be received how I need it to be received, so it can grow how I would like it to grow. But it can't grow if I don't give it to anybody. So
what prevents
again,
that? And what, and like, real talk, like what prevents that for you? Like mentally, is it a mental hurdle? Is it emotional hurdle? What prevents that?
It for me, again, the mental block is created emotionally. Again, I got a verse from Jay Skis off a beat that ended up being on West Side Guns Out. I had the beat, the sample, at least, not the beat, at least the sample. Go listen to West Side 12, I think is on. I had that beat, got it off of YouTube for free, paid for commission for it, paid Jay Skis for a verse, never put it out. Why? You know what I'm saying? And for me, I look at those things and I'm like, okay, that's you being scared, right? That's you being not accepted, right?
Now, how
That's
would you?
you that.
Now, she
Go
said
ahead.
something about like moving as if you're safe, like as if everything you
Yeah,
do is anointed,
yeah. I
as if
didn't. I
everything
didn't
you,
feel safe. I didn't
uh
feel safe then.
yeah.
And I kind of, and at some point, I don't feel safe now. But I think the closer that I get to immortality, or the closer that I get to that I not going to be here long enough, you know, listening to Currency and Golden Chrome, right? The song that he made during the pandemic about his son, and like, damn, I hope that I'm here to see my son take it to the top like my pop saw me do it. You know what I'm saying? I hope I'll be able to see my son tipping in the four wheeler, you know what I'm saying, riding the old Chevy, because it's mine that I gave. Like, that clicked at that time, and I'm like, okay, I want to be able to give my kid and show the work, right? And when I didn't have no work to show, I fell into a place, right? Because again, the work that I was doing, there was nothing to show for, right? You know what I mean? Our debate shows, Chris Benoit versus Kurt Angle, we doing a reasonable debate, and green screens, 3 camera setup with the pods, and
Wow, we are fucking
pre-shows,
creative,
post-shows,
bro.
edited, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Listen,
we really had shit in the tuck, and
no,
created a Patreon, and like really had people subscribe. We had subscribers. We had payouts. We had
we did.
payouts, bro.
Listen, and I think this all comes back. I think that you learn
Yeah,
and you learn and you grow. Part of that is giving yourself grace. Part of that is also now, before you get to like episode 100, yeah, start putting the places, start showing people who you are. Because one thing about me, I was the same way with Remo Wrestling, where I felt like our old podcast, where I felt like putting it out to people that I, am close with, I'm gonna feel some type of way about it and all that stuff, and like I'm not prepared. I want it to be a bit more polished, same with this, but there's a level of fuck it that you gotta have, of like I'm putting it out and I'm working
that's the
hard, and
success. That's where I see success at.
yeah,
That's where I see people. That's the level of aspiration slash jealousy that I see with IRL streamers, or even people who don't have it all together, where they just put the blurry background in their Zoom call, whatever. They like, we're here, we're putting this out, and we're going to become a presence. Then when we're a presence, we'll figure everything else out. But the main thing is we're going to be a presence. You know what I'm saying? So
facts. But but yeah, and I think putting yourself in that mind space is definitely necessary for you to start taking more chances and going places, and acting as if your shit is that good, because it is.
And the people who you see just do it, just go for it, just don't stop. That is what they have that you don't. They don't really have anything that you don't, but they have the presence of a belief. They have the microchip that has aligned them, that have put them in the frequency of someone who's going to get it. It is a microchip in the form of a belief that I am trying to give to you right now. Okay. Greatness is not separate from you. It's a channel to attune to. And on this point, people have to understand the difference between a point and a path. Okay? Just because you aren't at a certain point yet does not mean you can't be on the path. At any given moment and at any point, you can choose omnidirectional what the next step is, so you can always choose your path. The problem is when someone's not at a point, they just decide to fully get off the path. Give yourself this gift, this microchip, this reprogramming. Teach yourself.
Damn, that's so true.
To believe
that's so
that you
true.
are safe.
Yeah, it's so true.
Damn, I couldn't even wait that couple of seconds.
No.
That
I
shit hit. That
speak.
shit hit. Yeah.
Speak.
That shit is so true. Because we lived that. Because we weren't on a point, we pivoted from paths. And none of our paths since then have worked out and led us right back to this point.
What did Thanos say? You
it was inevitable, okay my nigga.
Yeah, it was inevitable. He said it was inevitable. He said, listen, you weren't okay with your failures, and where did that lead you? Right back to me. That's what he said. So yeah, it led us right back to potting, like all the things that we've tried to do and with varying levels of success, led us back here. And this path I feel like is different. It feels like we are on the path. It feels like we are also accepting that. So we have built a callus in our brain of like, oh yeah, we've been here before, and we're okay with not being at the point as much as we were before. We were like, oh, we should be at the point by now. Granted, we put in years.
And the aspiration is still there too. Like the hunger is still there. The want to is still there. But the way that it's almost like an older veteran quarterback. Right, where we're relying a lot on the feel of the game, not pure athleticism. Right, we was like off of pure talent, we should be good. No, it has to be strategy. We have to have a feel for the game. We have to know what our defense. We have to know what the defense is. We have to know as we grew this right by ourselves, with no help, no backing, no money. Your biggest thing was I want to have as low overhead as possible. Bro, you grew this shit from the ground up.
Yeah.
Now, granted, this is what other people do, but for us to get to this point, we had to follow a certain path. Your path came from the pivot that you made, right? You ended up being a back-end coder. That helps with your brain logic of how this is supposed to go now. So again, like, I'm feeling, again, I talk, for those who are married, you have conversations with your spouse, and she's like, or he says, hey, do what make you happy. At this point, stop bringing it to me and do what make you happy. Do what you want to do. Right? If that's what makes you happy, then do it. Okay, well, I need help in order for me to do it, for me to be happy. And that has been a real balance, but it's been a real help because every night I make it a point to be here. And every night it has been a callous buildup of he's going to be there. Yeah. And whether that, kind of results in her having a bad night or whatever the case may be, she gives me the space to breathe and be here. You know what I'm saying? And I think that is, because, you know what I'm saying? That's important. That's important.
I appreciate the time she gives us because this is different than our first podcast, and the expectations I put on you were a lot more heavy and more, stringent on if we were going to do it because, it has to be done right. It has to be done right this time. And, we've been able to make this an expectation. It's a normality now. Where before, if you were to ask you if this could be normal, maybe a couple of years ago, you're like, hell no. Every single day go live, what?
Every day,
You
every
know?
day, live,
Yeah, every day, but we
bro.
we
With
found a
three
way to do
kids,
it.
like
Yeah,
my new baby 10 months. You know what I'm
that's
saying?
crazy.
Like,
Yeah.
and realistically, at that point, for me to be, um, I don't think like I may be tired. I may be groggy. I may not be as up and preppy as I used to be without this podcast previously, but
Yeah.
I am a more engaged, active, present father because at the end of the day, I know my reward is what it's going to be. Now,
Yeah.
sometimes again, the day of the day takes over. I have to come splash water in my face. I'm tired. We get into a little grumpy, whatever the case may be. But at the same time, that's because the responsibility of me doing what I have to do is first, right? So like the nature of the house, the nature of the day, whatever the
Yeah.
case may be. But at the end of the day, I do have this space, and that is super, super important. You know what I mean? Like I
Absolutely.
was able to go watch my movie today. Like I said, watched my movie, was gone, came home, took a nap, didn't do no house chores. You know what I'm saying? She got the kids, she putting them down for sleep. I can't say nothing about Thursday. If she got a problem tomorrow, it's because of what happened yesterday. But it's my responsibility now. Again, knowing I have a show to prep for, knowing I don't have nothing really to do. Now it's my okay. Friday, if she want to take off, do some, I really make sure take care of the house is good. Take the baby off her hand, majority of the case.
Yeah.
That's how that's going to work, and that's how that partnership works for
Yeah.
this to work. You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely. I appreciate that
yeah,
wholeheartedly.
man. It's coming together as the path, right?
Yeah,
The path
exactly.
is coming together.
Yeah.
The path is
And
coming together.
it's the path becomes more important than the point, but the path changes and alters over time and gets more real, I guess, as you continue to walk it.
Okay? That's like the unlock to everything. And then after you learn that, teach yourself to change your beliefs so that you may believe whatever you want regarding your life or your self-concept. Some people call it brainwashing, programming, manifesting. I call it choosing. I call it selecting your timeline, selecting your path. You are the remote control. At any point, every decision you make decides what's next. Me deciding to get and record this video versus read a book or versus sleep or versus go for a drive is determining. I am choosing my destiny. You have the power to choose in every given moment what timeline you're on. You can choose whatever timeline you wish from the point you are at right now. All of the power is literally in right now. Feel how your feet feel. Feel how your hands feel. Feel how you sit in your body. Know that it is only you right now that decides what path you are on, what your trajectory is, what frequency you dial into in the present moment is what determines what everything is. Reality is completely relative to where you sit in it, and you can choose where you sit in it. Just start with safety, okay? Start here. Just teach yourself that you're safe. Know that you are safe, fully safe in every realm, every layer, every sense of the word. You are safe. If you feel resistance in this programming, good. You found the culprit. That means you found the bug. It's supposed to be tense. It's work. It's energy work. Some people might feel, well, I don't want to tell myself I'm safe because then I'll let my guard down and then I'll get hurt. That's what a lot of people's rationale is.
He says that's a belief talking, babe, resulting in certain action, hypervigilance, and certain inaction, not confidently taking no risks.
Come
You think
on.
it's protecting you, but it's really just
Come
blocking
on. It's blocking me, nigga. I could have been Toby.
you.
I could have been Toby. My wife be talking about fast all the time. Like, girl, nigga, book me. Book me open mic, nigga.
Yeah, there's
You know what I'm
so many
saying?
things. There's so many things that I think of when I read that, man. And so many times in my life where I've unintentionally blocked myself from different
Yep.
blessings and realities
Yep.
that I really could have created. And I'm tired of doing that. So I'm like,
Yeah.
and this is what I had to work on when I'm on my meditation. I go deep inside my meditation and I try to reorganize my wires, find the bugs in my system, and rewire my
Yep.
brain and my belief system, because that's what's going to make you take action, is from a place of complete confidence. Is when you start removing that programming of I can't, I don't, I won't, I I'm scared, or I'm protected by doing it this way. This is the normal way to do things. You have to start to really truly believe in yourself, and believe in yourself from a real calm state of mind, not from this place of like I gotta believe, I gotta believe. No, believe, and you where you're at, and you take the next logical step.
And that is the culprit. To love is to trust, to have trust in the body, to have trust in the world around you, to have trust in the universe, to trust that you are safe. It is a radical act in this day and age where everything wants to scare you, everything wants to sit you in chaos and make your nervous system anxious. It is radical to choose trust and to choose love and to choose to believe that you are safe. It is a radical action. It is revolutionary to your body. Teach your nervous system that you are safe and that everything you touch from this point on will be blessed. That you and every step you take is blessed. It's that delusional belief that makes people great, and I believe that. The ability to hold on to that belief so strongly, regardless of what the world throws at you. That is the algorithm. This is the algorithm. You can teach yourself to know all of the healthy frequencies. You can program and ingrain in yourself all of the healthy beliefs, the beliefs that will liberate you and mobilize you instead of keep you stagnant. But it is a choice. So when I say you control your reality, you do. But I didn't say it didn't take work. So it is a choice. Teach yourself to know all the healthy beliefs, that you are healthy, that God and the universe loves you, that you are deserving just by being. You were never meant to come here and try to earn your value in this life. You're meant to come here and realize your value. That's the journey. Not becoming more valuable, but becoming supremely aware of how valuable and magical you are. To realize the power that exists within you. To realize you don't have to wait for the world outside you to make your life feel different. It starts from inside. Visualization technique. I don't know if you guys meditate, but you should. And if you can just give me 2 minutes each day of just sitting, closing your eyes, and imagining an empty room. Imagine you're sitting in just an empty space with absolutely nothing around you, and hold that space. There's nothing in your field. That is nothing that can get to you. There's nothing that can touch you. There's nothing that can disturb you from that peace for just 2 minutes. Just imagine yourself in the third person, surrounded by nothing but empty space, okay? And while you're in that empty space, just keep telling yourself and telling your nervous system, I am safe, I am safe, I am safe. If you want to, you can fill that empty room with love. Like you can pump all the air around you with love and health. And just imagine you're just sitting in this empty room for these 2 minutes, breathing, inhaling this room that's just infused with love. It's important to visually make sure there's nothing around you, to try to feel the empty space around you. And it's just teaching your nervous system that nothing's going to get you. And over time, just holding that space for longer and longer and longer. Just tell yourself, literally, I am safe, I am safe, I am safe. I know it feels cheesy, but it's like, bro, I ignored the whole affirmation thing for years. And words have resonance. I am safe, I am safe, I am safe. If you say that shit all day, bro, eventually you'll believe you're safe. Like, it works.
So it says this, let me read that real quick. It says, this may feel like a very micro thing, random even, but I promise that this is a meaningful contribution to the world at large. We need the real you. But the real you only exists when your nervous system is not in survival mode.
See, that's the big.
Thank you
That's
for
the,
watching this
that's
video.
that's
I
a
know this
big
was
thing right now. I think that's a difficult place for people to remove themselves from, because as we learned in this over this 2 months, over these 60 episodes, they have inhibited us from being able to get out of that particular mode, right? They have made it an 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 evergreen cycle, right? That you can't diverge from the path that they create. Now, again, you have some glitches in the matrix currently right now where a lot of people are now trying to get rich schemes of, again, streaming, podcasting, um, um, you know, uh, rapping, well, entertainment, right? But there's no real path of government aided jobs, trades, right?
Yeah.
Those like there's a lot of things that you have to go find on your own. And
Yeah.
again, if your algorithmic uh um uh radius is not expanding beyond where you're at, you're never going to be able to find what your true purpose is, other than the purpose of making you a hamster on the wheel. And
They
that
control you.
is
You don't control you. They control
exactly
you. You know. Yeah. You become a subservient to the
that's spiritual warfare right there, though.
yeah.
Because like I've broken that mode of, again, and it's not a path that, if I was in a different lifetime, that I wouldn't do again. Right? I don't want to be under the confines of the constructs of working a job and then having to then figure out me on the back end. You know what I'm saying? Because me work, no disrespect to anybody that's working a job, your main focus of that job does not focus on you, your kids, your house, or anything like that. It's the job, it's the task, right? And even when, I works from home, and she has to diverge her time in between the two, she feels bad that work takes a back seat. And I'm like, girl, you got the kids. Like, you had to
That's the
cook
main
dinner
thing.
for the house. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, you went to
Yeah.
go take a shower. Like,
What are you working for?
why does work?
Yeah, you're working for that. Those things, those moments, they want to keep us in a state of like the survival, like no, 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 working for tomorrow, but tomorrow is now, and
And she's
and
like, and
more,
she does that. She's like, I don't want to work late. I don't want. I'm like, but in the moment, in the day, during the day, you take on. Like we talk about all the time. Chris, live in the moment. I get my
yeah,
laptop. I'm supposed to do stuff. You say, yo, since you're there, bro, live in the moment. Try not to be there for your wife, be there for your kids, have fun. If you got to publish or deliver, I understand that. But at that point in time, I gave you a good 2 hours. I put the kids down for a nap. Were you able to decompress and get some things done and squeeze in, or did you also divert your time? You know what I'm saying? And at that point in time, I done my help. You know what I'm saying? There's no kids, it's quiet. I'm not bothered. I ain't trying to get nothing from you. You know what I'm saying? Like, at that point in time, if you weren't able to wrap it up at that time, you know, Ivana tells me that, yo, you put the kids down, you decide to play the game, nigga. You can't tell me you gotta edit now. You should have edited it. That's real. That's it, and I
that's real.
can't. I'm like, that's real. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
like, I can't be mad when the time presented itself for me to then
yeah,
do what's necessary. You know what I mean? Like she
yeah.
said, you
You
selected
chose
to do
exactly.
something.
You selected.
You
Yeah,
chose that.
you chose
You know
that.
what I
Yeah.
mean? So yeah,
And you're
yeah.
constantly choosing, even if you don't choose. You're constantly choosing to not do what you are meant to do. You constantly choose to be who you're meant to be. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm coming to this part today. I'm kind of um, not feeling too good. I've been felt good this whole week. I've been off my game. And it hurts because I'm trying to get the work done. Even though I'm not feeling well. It's been a tough week for me. But I gotta be in the moment sometimes and take care of my health, and that's necessary. And just like whether it's resting and taking some medication and lying down, because without health, there's no wealth. Without health, I can't be here for y'all tonight and doing what I do. And sometimes that takes, hey man, we didn't get another clip out that I wanted to get clipped, um, and that sucks because the work, I know how important it is for me to get the work done. I know Chris knows, how I am programmed. Like I want to get the work done to my liking, but giving yourself that permission sometimes to be okay with that and be okay with it, and being in and out where you're like, okay, take care of your health,
That's the
whether
key.
it's taking care of the
Because
kids or whatever it
nobody
may
else
be.
gives you permission other than you.
Then you
That's the key.
exactly.
That's the key. Yes,
Yeah.
that's a big fight that we are learning how to fight. Because everybody say, "Don't nobody tell me what to do." Don't nobody tell. That's not really necessarily true.
You tell you what to do.
Somebody, you. But in confines of what works with everyone that you care about. This goes back to being humanist, right? Is my selfish thing that I'm going to do beneficial for everybody around me, right? And to the point, me going to see the movie could have put some clips out, could have helped Ivana during the workday, whatever the case may be. I could have been there and done a different path than but choosing what I wanted to do. But 2 days prior, I said, I'm choosing me. I gave everybody a 48-hour notice. I'm choosing me. This is what's going to happen. And when I get back, I'm locked back in. But I'm choosing me, right? And that was, and that was receptive. And that's receptive. And how it falls. But at that point, like you say, you don't do it out of spite. You don't do it out of negligence to your responsibilities.
Yeah.
You don't do it out of, disassociating yourself with the ideology of work.
Deceit, sneaking
But
around, like trying to.
Yeah.
No, this is what I'm doing, and it's okay.
This is what I'm doing.
And being that what we're doing right now, trusting in each other, trusting the people that you love, trusting the people that you're working with, and understanding that the work is going to get done when the work gets done, that the housework's going to get done when the house is work, the kids are going to be okay. And I've grown to a point where I realize I can sense when things are not right. I can sense when things are not going to turn out the way I want it to because we're not doing what's necessary. And I can sense where, hey, we're doing what's necessary. It may not be as good as I want it to be, but we're doing the best we can, and that's what I feel like is best. And things tend to work out, always. And I always put that in my spirit,
on the latter than the former.
Yeah,
I think that's where our biggest contention was how we saw the former, and that was our first endeavor, right? Where you sensed it, you voiced it, and then it was presented like it was hobbyist, right? It was presented and it was laissez-faire. You know what I'm saying? And with the grandiose vision that we had to get to that point, the path of laissez-faire was not going to get us that ass. You know what I'm saying? And the help that was necessary and the community that was necessary.
Okay.
And that's part,
like that's also part of the path. It's not like it's not like, here's the thing. We like to say, oh, we failed. Nah, we didn't. We're still freaking making content, bro. Like we're still on this motherfucking path, and we're still growing as people. We may have taken a detour or a hiatus or whatever it may be. We're still on the path, and we're still on the path of self-actualization and becoming the real us. We thought the real us was that maybe for that time, but there's a higher level to who we are, and I think that we're how we are today. Next year or 2 years, we're going to look back and like that's not the real us today, and it's going to keep on evolving. So that's what I took from that message, that video, and I want to bring it to you because it spoke to the energy you were in before the pod. I was like, I was kind of in that energy earlier today too. And just reflecting on what we've been doing and how we're moving, and how people should be trying to move within today's day and age and today's world to make it a better world, to make their dreams come true, while the world's trying to make you live a life of survival and extreme, haywire in your nervous system. And it really is a psyop to the point of not just being a psyop, it's like a biological op because people are going through depression and nervous breakdowns, anxiety, and all that stuff. And I'm an example of that, but because you're putting yourself in this place of so much tension because you got to make sure that you don't fall behind. But real talk, we all, if your intentions are in the right place, I truly believe everything will work out. And if you want to change your life, you have the power to do it if you just put your intentions in the right place and walk that path and try to elevate so that you are in a place of safety, that you're in a place of showing love, as I always say, loving your hearts and spirits, and spreading that to the world so the world can also grow and elevate. It's a place where we can be that 1% better, as you say, as Travis Hunter
Absolutely,
says.
absolutely, absolutely, man, absolutely. Now, of course, our podcast can't be our podcast without us dropping a little bit of knowledge on you, you know. So Chidi got the third topic, and we're gonna go ahead and 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 take it away.
Yeah, and so real quick, um, the Federal Reserve. I'm going to read this to you. Federal Reserve is the institution that controls the cost of borrowing money in the United States. When the Fed raises interest rates, your mortgage gets more expensive, your car loan gets more expensive, your credit card debt gets more expensive, and businesses pay to borrow more money for expansion. When the Fed lowers interest rates, all those things get cheaper. Right now, the Fed is stuck between two bad options. The people inside it cannot agree on which bad option is less dangerous. Bad option one, raise interest rates to fight inflation. Inflation is at its highest level in more than 3 years. Oil prices are up 30% since the start of 2006, driven heavily by the Iran war. So everything costs more right now. Your groceries cost more, your gas costs more. So everything is super expensive. I'm sure you guys feel it. Now, Warsh, let me see who. Let me see who that is. So Kevin Warsh is the 17th chair of the Federal Reserve, having taken office on May 22nd to succeed Jerome Powell. He's an American financier and former central bank governor. Now, he um, acknowledged that persistently high prices are a burden for the American people. Raising rates would fight inflation by making borrowing more expensive, which slows spending, which eventually brings prices down. But it also risks tipping the slow economy into a recession if they were to raise interest rates. Now, the bad option two is to hold rates steady to protect the economic growth. The Fed held rates steady because inflation is still elevated. And it was clear in the policy statement and Warsh press conference that price stability is the committee's current focus. But at least 3 of the FOMC's 12 voting members may also project rate hikes this year. The economy is already slowing. If the Fed raises rates to fight inflation while the economy is contracting, you could get stagflation, which is the worst possible combination of high prices and low growth simultaneously. That's what happened in the 1970s, and it took a decade to get out of. So what happened yesterday was while the majority members of the Federal Open Market Committee agreed with holding rates steady in July, 3 dissented, arguing instead to hike rates to combat above target inflation. He himself called it a family fight. He used the phrase 13 times across 5 public appearances, saying, I asked for a good family fight and I got 3 dissenting votes pushing for rate hikes in the same direction as is the biggest show of dissent in the same direction since 2016. That is a significant internal fracture at the most powerful financial institution in the country. Warsh pledged that the central bank will take action if needed on inflation, but also noted that the Fed under his watch isn't in the forecasting business and won't be providing further hints about where rates are heading. Translation: we are not going to tell you what we are going to do before we do it. So, context is that Trump nominated Warsh specifically because he wanted someone who would lower interest rates. Cheaper borrowing is good for business and good for Trump's political narrative about economic growth. President Trump nominated Warsh to lead the central bank in hopes he would push for lower interest rates. But a wartime spike in energy prices has pushed rate cuts off the table. So right now with the war, you cannot lower interest rates. It's just not going to work. When asked about this communication with Trump since taking the role, Warsh said, "I don't have anything for you." Trump's response to the Fed's holding steady was, "All right, whatever." That's in quotations. And when asked about rate hikes, he said, "It's hard to believe, and we have a very good guy over there now, so I'm guided by what he wants." That dynamic, a president who appointed the Fed chair specifically to get lower rates, a war driving inflation that makes lower rates impossible, and a committee internally divided about whether to raise rates is the most stable Federal Reserve has been in years. So what this means for real people is that your mortgages, guys, they're not going to get cheaper anytime soon. Federal Reserve is more likely to keep rates steady for the remainder of 2026, or even usher in a rate hike to tame rising prices. If you're waiting for rates to drop before you buy a house or refinance, that window is not opening in 2026. Your credit card debt is not getting cheaper. The benchmark rate is sitting at 3.5% to 3.75%, means consumer borrowing costs stay elevated at the moment. The average American carrying a credit card balance is paying for this decision every single month. If three dissenters win and rates go up, a recession becomes significantly more likely. Higher rates slow business investment, slow hiring, slow consumer spending, and a slowing economy that is already dealing with war-driven energy prices up. A rate hike could be the thing that tips the country into a complete contraction at that point. So let's hope that. Damn, I don't even know what I want to happen because honestly, we're fucked. If the majority holds and rates stay flat while inflation stays elevated, you lose purchasing power every single month. So you're just losing, your dollar goes less further. Your paycheck buys less in 2026 than it did in 2025, even if the number stays the same. The people who get hurt first and worst by both inflation and recession are working class and middle Americans, disproportionately Black and brown people who do not have investment portfolios that hedge against inflation or do not have savings large enough to absorb a period of economic contraction. The people debating this in that room in Washington do not live the consequences of getting it wrong. The people listening to this podcast essentially do. So, as of right now, we're in a rock and a hard place because it seems like things aren't not gonna get any better when it comes to wages or jobs or mortgages or credit card. And I just want people to be aware of that their dollar is going to be going less further because of these decisions. And hey, do with that information as you may. Maybe that's saving more, maybe that's downsizing from your current situation. But it looks like the economic struggles right now in America aren't going to be getting better anytime soon, especially because we're still in this war that we can't get out of for some reason. You're muted.
So currently right now, to your point, there is unbelievable value loss and the U.S. dollar right now. The U.S. dollar has fallen roughly 10% against major global currencies since 2025.
What, 10? 10?
10%, yeah, since
God damn,
2025.
that's a lot. That's less than 1
Yes.
year, bro. 1 year
So,
of this guy.
and that goes back to, when we're talking about how far our dollar can stretch elsewhere, right? So right now, when we were just talking about Nigeria a couple episodes ago, so my chat brings this up. $1 is $1,369.12 and NGN. With that being said, that then dissipates how far your dollar can stretch if we were to try to make something happen away from here. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Which, that dollar to dollar US, like you can't really get a 1-for-1. Like, so if I were to go from US to euros, 86 cents. $1 US is 86.86 cents in euros. If I had a dollar in pounds, British pounds, 0.74 cents in British pounds. In Canada, a dollar is worth more in Canada. It's worth $1.40 in Canada. So one US dollar is worth $1.40 in Canada. But again, we was just talking about where can we live, that humanity and everything like that. Let's go Denmark. $1, $1.69 in Denmark money. So like we have to pick and choose now where our money is accepted and how much it can get us. How far it can get us, because it's not really worth much. I'm saying it's not really worth
Yeah.
much at all.
So for working class
That's it
people
for
right now, the Fed has kept his short-term rate steady throughout 2026. So with the last cut occurring in December 2025, so rates are not coming down this year. So if you're carrying a credit card debt at 22% or a personal loan debt at 18%, or buy now, pay later balances, every month you carry that debt, the cost cut is compounding right now. Um, the interest rates environment makes debt even more expensive to hold than it has been in years. So pay the high interest rate debt first if you guys have high interest rate debt, regardless of the balance size. Just start paying that down. This is called the avalanche method, and the math is documented. It saves more money than any other sequence of debt repayment. Because when you have debt, guys, strategy to pay that back is vital. It's vital because you could be paying more money if you choose the wrong strategy. You could be paying more money if you choose the wrong strategy on paying off your debt. And obviously, you only have a limited amount of income if you're a working class citizen. So please pay the high interest debt off first. Right now, with the Fed and the way things are moving, you will be stuck in debt forever if you start just paying the bare minimum of your low credit card bill that you think is going to get. Oh, I'll pay this one off first, but you're going to have this high interest debt for the rest of your life if you don't get that out the way. So that's the best advice I can give to people at the moment considering things. Now, second, you got to build a cash buffer of up to 3 to 6 months of expenses. I know that's extremely hard for most people,
That's
but that's what
hard.
they
That's
always
hard.
that's what they always say. Um, not invest, not invested, not in crypto. They're saying cash. So but if you have the opportunity to do that, definitely do that for yourself because things could get kind of tough. If your money is sitting in Chase Bank or Bank of America savings account earning you 0.1%, you're losing ground on inflation every single month.
Put it in Chime. Put it in Chime. Chime
Yeah,
saving account get you at least 3.25 right now.
exactly. So you want to move to a high yield account, which is free. Like you said, try maybe, it takes 5, 15 minutes to do that. Um, Lock in any fixed rate you can. If you're renting and your landlord offers a longer lease at a fixed rate, consider it. If you have a variable rate on anything, a personal line of credit, a small business loan, an adjustable rate mortgage, understand that if rates go up, that payment goes up automatically. Automatically. So the people who got hurt worse in previous rate hiking cycles were the ones with variable rate debt they did not know was variable until the bill changed. So know what you have and know whether it moves with the Fed moves. Fourth, food and energy costs are your most immediate inflation exposure. Oil prices remain higher by 30% since the start of the year. That 30% increase in oil shows up in your gas tank, in the cost of shipping food you buy, in your utility bills, and in the cost of anything manufactured or transported. The most practical response is reducing exposure to where you have control. Meal planning and reducing food waste are documented to cut grocery bills by 15 to 25% without changing what you eat. Just kind of meal prep it, plan your meals, adjust, adjust your thermostat settings, switch to LED lighting if you can, and auditing subscriptions and reoccurring charges that are not going to solve inflation, but they move money from your most volatile expenses into your control expenses. So take a look at that. And fifth, invest in your skills before you need to. This is a preparation strategy that gets skipped because it does not feel urgent until a recession hits. Then it's too late. If your job is vulnerable to automation, to economic shutdown or slowdown in your sector, or to corporate cost cutting that happens first in a downturn, the best insurance against that risk is having a skill that is valuable in multiple contexts. Worst pledge that the central bank will take action if needed on inflation. If that action triggers a slowdown, the people who get laid off first are the ones whose skills are most narrowly applicable. The people who land fastest are the ones who can demonstrate value in a new context quickly. One course, one certification, one skill developed over the next 6 months is an investment in your own resilience that no market condition can take away. And that's it, man. May the God be with you all. So yeah, just everybody do your own financial audit on your house. Know where your debts are, know that they're variable, because that's very, very indicative of just randomly your bill going from $300 to $500 with a rate hike. So just please stay tapped in on where the Fed is moving, because you'd be surprised how it's going to impact your life directly. Yeah, if you have a savings account, find a savings account that gives you a little bit more percentage to a high yield percentage to offset the inflation. We got to be more conscious about the way the Fed is moving, so we don't just get taken advantage of and become a victim of everything that's going on in this world financially.
Currently, right now, as you bring that up, for those who want to just check it out, just Google free certification courses online. You can smarten yourself up with that. Right now, I'm on Harvard EDU. There's a catalog of free courses that you can take, and right on schedule with what Chidi was talking about is leadership for purposeful change. That's a social science course, creating public value. Right, I think that's very influential. Understanding how we can strategic finance for nonprofit leaders. If you want to become a nonprofit, and kind of then orchestrate ways for people to learn this financial information and education. Um, there is a ton of things that we can do right now that can. Let's go to business. That's exactly what we were just talking about. Yeah, there's free courses right here to where we can understand what it is, and also managing happiness. Let's just tie everything together. There's a course right here where it says happiness is within your control. Write your own ending. So, if finances is something that is causing a ton of stress, go on a course and figure out how we can course correct. And we have a ton of things at our fingertips, being in this information age, knowing that the internet is free, with the information that it gives you, let's use it for our benefit.
Absolutely. Stay informed, because it's likely that within the next 12 to 18 months, there will be another shock to the system in some form or fashion. So just stay tapped into what's going on. Know your money, know what you're making, and know how to leverage that so that you're financially savvy. And also, like he says, manage your happiness, because don't let this all stress you out. You can be aware and still be happy, so do that, and know whether if you're okay with, hey man, inflation's gonna go up. I know my dollar's gonna lose a little bit of power. If you're okay with that, then all right, keep your money in the bank in the savings account. If not, you might want to move it to a high yield savings account somewhere, But we're just giving you the information, move it at your own risk, and just understand that what's happening. Because if I give you $20 and yeah, you hold on to that $20, and next year you got $20.01, but that $20 that could have bought you, I don't know, a whole outfit can only buy you a pair of socks. You're losing value on that same money, and you're not even recognizing that. All you know is that you can buy a pair of socks now. That's all you know. When the year before, you could buy, a pair of socks and a whole, set shirt and pantsuit. Just as an analogy for this, because that's how money works. The money is a fictional thing. Knowing how it works, knowing how it's valued, and compared to how it was valued, and how it can be, compounded on and interest, and where you're weakest at when it comes to your debt. All that matters into your own financial sovereignty, your own financial liberation. So yeah, so the more information you get, the more you can be aware, and the more you can be not too scared of these things, and taking the power into your own hands. Even if you are in a bad position, know the numbers, because it gives you more power, even just knowing it.
Good podcast today, man.
Good shit.
Great
Good
podcast.
Shit. Yeah, man. Definitely a good pod today. Yeah, man. Just thank y'all for listening. Definitely hit that like button if y'all learned anything or if y'all enjoyed this. Really do appreciate it. Really appreciate it, man. We're here at 100 subscribers here on YouTube. We only got 6 followers on Twitch, so you might want to follow. If you have a Twitch, go to Twitch and hit the follow. We really appreciate it if you guys can catch us live one of these days. Yeah, man, come if you guys are seeing this, catch us live one of these days, 9:30 Eastern, Monday through Friday. Now tomorrow we will not be live 9:30, but we will be back next Monday. We will be back next Monday, 9:30 Eastern, to 10 or 11.
Now we will be live though. We will be live. I'm gonna get them kids some melatonin. And I'm gonna get on that game tomorrow, boy. I'm gonna hit sticks tomorrow.
If you're a gamer, come and watch Chris lose in every game that he's gonna play and curse people out. So yeah, enjoy that tomorrow. I will be at Spider-Man.
I'm for sure gonna cuss some niggas out, boy. I'm for sure gonna cuss some niggas out, boy.
But yeah, man, it's been a good week, man. I've been feeling under the weather, but I'm really happy to be here with y'all. And thank y'all for supporting us. We're at 100 subscribers. That means a lot to me. Thank y'all for the support. Hit the comment section for any takes on anything we said today. Give us feedback. We will really appreciate that. Yeah, man. We're here to talk about everything that matters, and we did. We are the zeitgeist. We are the culture. Anything else you got to say, brother?
We out.
Keep loving your hearts and spirit all day. The world needs it. Peace out.